Hi guys, how are you today? I hope you are well. I hope you're being kind and helpful at home. I hope you're getting all your jobs done. I look forward to looking at all your things on Dojo today. I'm going to read another top story of mine, and it wasn't a top story of mine until I started reading this story at school. But I know that lots of you know this story, and that is why you guys probably like it too. So today I'm going to start off with, I'm out of time to read two stories today. I'm going to start off with The Lighthouse Keeper's Lunch. We all know this story. It's a good one. Hands up or give me a wave if you remember making mustard sandwiches in year 2 and trying them. The words are back to front because I'm reading on my iPad, but I'm going to hold up the picture so you can see. Once there was a lighthouse keeper called Mr. Grinling. At night time, he lived in a small white cottage perched high up on the cliffs. In the daytime, he rowed out to his lighthouse on the rocks to clean and polish the light. Mr. Grinling was a most industrious lighthouse keeper. Come rain or shine, he tended his light. Oh, what a good hard worker. I bet Mr. Grinling is still cleaning his light despite lockdown. Sometimes at night, as Mr. Grinling lay sleeping in his warm bed, the ships would toot to tell him that his light was shining brightly and clearly out to sea. Oh, look how happy that makes him. Each morning, while Mr. Grinling polished the light, Mrs. Grinling worked in the kitchen of the little white cottage on the cliffs, concocting a delicious lunch for him. Once she had prepared the lunch, she packed it into a special basket and clipped it onto the wire that ran from the little white cottage all the way down to the lighthouse on the rocks. Oh, I'd like someone to do that for me. Oh my goodness, this lunch, I forgot. But one Monday, something terrible happened. Mrs. Grinling had prepared a particularly appetizing lunch. She had made, get ready, this is making me hungry, it's only like 10 o'clock, I'm hungry already. A mixed seafood salad, oh yummy, with prawns, so tasty. A lighthouse sandwich, I wonder why it's called a lighthouse sandwich. What do you think? A peach surprise, iced sea biscuits, cold chicken garni, sausages and crisps, drinks and assorted fruit. She put the lunch in the basket, as usual, and sent it down the wire. Nothing terrible so far. I would say better than normal day. Imagine having all that for lunch. But the lunch did not arrive. It was spotted by 3 scavenging seagulls who set upon it and devoured it with great gusto. "Clear off, you varmints!" shouted Mr. Grinling. But the seagulls took not the slightest bit of notice. "This is an excellent peach surprise, boys. Oh, she's a great cook, Fred. Scrumptious lunch, Tom." That evening, Mr. and Mrs. Grinling decided on a plan to baffle the seagulls. "Tomorrow, I will tie a napkin to the basket," said Miss Grinling. "Of course, my dear," said Mr. Grinling. "A sound plan." Oh, look, she thinks she's got it sorted there with her napkin tied around. Not sure about that plan, Mrs. Grinling. The seagulls are saying, "They'll have to try harder than this to stop us, Bert." I think I could be a seagull. They are sneaky. Have you ever been to the seaside and if you have an ice cream or maybe been to the fish and chip shop and the seagulls are just wild, they come for you and your food. I don't know if you've been to Brighton. I know I've taken some classes to Brighton, and you have to be aware of those seagulls. They are really sneaky. On Tuesday evening, Mr. and Mrs. Grinling racked their brains for another plan. "They are a brazen lot, those seagulls," said Mrs. Grinling. "Brazen indeed," said Mr. Grinling. "What shall we do?" "Our cat does not appear to like the seagulls," said Mrs. Grinling. "No, my dear," said Mr. Grinling. "Hamish is an accomplished seagull chaser." "Of course," exclaimed Mrs. Grinling. "Tomorrow, Hamish can guard the lunch." "A most ingenious plan," said Mr. Grinling. Not so sure that Hamish thinks this is an ingenious plan. Look at his face. Hamish did not think this plan was ingenious at all. There you go. He spat and hissed as Mrs. Grinling secured him into the basket. There, Hamish, said Mrs. Grinling consolingly. I'll have a tasty piece of herring waiting for you when you arrive home. Sadly, Flying did not agree with Hamish. His fur stood on end when the basket swayed, and his whiskers drooped when he peered down at the wet sea below. And it made him feel much too sick to even notice the seagulls, let alone scare them away from the lunch. Oh no, look at poor Hamish! And the seagulls, what the seagulls saying? Pretty kitty, like a piece of lobster. This food gets better and better every day, Fred. Aren't you going to chase us, kitty? Oh, they're taunting him. That is not very polite, is it? Poor Hamish. Lackaday, lackaday, said Mr. Grinling sadly. Meow, meow, agreed Hamish pitifully. On Wednesday evening, Mr. and Mrs. Grinling racked their brains again for a new plan. What shall we do? Asked Mr. Grinling. Mrs. Grinling looked thoughtful. I have it. Just the mixture for hungry seagulls. Indeed, my dear, said Mr. Grinling. What have you got in mind? Just you wait and see, said Mrs. Grinling. Just you wait and see. Mustard sandwiches, chuckled Mr. Grinling. A truly superb plan, my dear, truly superb. Extra strong mustard. I hope you've all tried mustard. Some mustard isn't too strong and is very, very nice, but this English mustard is very, very, very hot. And if you had a whole teaspoon of it, it kind of sets fire up your nose. I feel like a dragon if I eat something that's too mustardy, and steam and smoke's gonna start shooting out of my nose. On Thursday morning, Mrs. Grinling carefully packed the mustard sandwiches and sent them down the wire to the expectant seagulls. Oh, yuck! Seagulls do not like mustard sandwiches. On Friday, Mrs. Grinling repeated the mustard mixture. All right, boys, let's go and have lunch elsewhere. It's the same as yesterday's lunch, Fred. So on Saturday, up in the little white cottage on the cliffs, a jubilant Mrs. Grinling put away the mustard pot before she prepared a scrumptious lunch for Mr. Grinling. While he waited for his lunch down the lighthouse on the rocks, Mr. Grinling sang snatches of old sea shanties as he surveyed the coastline through his telescope. Oh, I love a sea shanty. Does anyone know any sailors' songs or sailors' chants? My dad knows lots of them. He lives by the sea. And this is what he saw. Uh-oh. There's someone else there having their lunch stolen by those pesky seagulls. No mustard in this lot, Tom. We'll fly back here again for lunch tomorrow. This is a delicious chocolate eclair, Fred. Poor this guy. Good news for Mr. Grinling, but not so good for this guy. Ah well, such is life, mused Mr. Grinling as he sat down to enjoy a leisurely lunch in the warm sunshine. Oh, look at that lunch. Oh, it makes me think of the summer and going to the seaside in the summer and not eating mustard sandwiches and avoiding those pesky seagulls that we get at the seaside. But it does make me think of nice sunny times. And such a good book, and it reminds me of all the times I have taught this book with most classes at this school. So I've got really nice memories of this book. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a really good day. Be kind, be helpful, and I will see you soon.